Hi everybody, this is Osprey from MyChartCoach.com. In this video we're going to take a look at Netflix and Bank of America. They both report tomorrow. As you can see here, this is some Netflix analyst targets. They have been raised across the board with, you've got lots of buy ratings, lots of targets that are above the current share price. As you can see here on the Netflix daily chart, it's currently trading at 311. They've really been walking this thing higher. The RSI is at 57, so it's in the bull zone. It has room to run until that 70 overbought level. Fasto's at 78, so they both have a lot of room to run. They keep pulling it back as it's heading higher. There's been 5 green volume bars in a row. So it's been up 5 days in a row, and it's had this 5 gap up opens in a row. There's a gap up open each time. Now there is an unfilled gap between high of day on Tuesday and low of day of Wednesday last week, so it dropped down to that 299 level would fill the gap. It needs to break this descending resistance line. What's this red line here? That 311, 312 level it needs to break above. And then to the upside, the key level to break is 320. So if you could see it break above 320 at the closing price on March 26, that's going to put that just above 330 high close from the beginning of March on deck. So it's 320, 330, 2 big levels to the upside. Has to get above 312. If it struggles with 312, then that EMA 4 at 306, the pink line, needs to hold. That's been holding during the uptrend. If that broke, then you'd have that middle Bollinger Band on deck. They really cooked this heading into earnings, with 5 up days in a row. It does have a nice bullish crossover starting on MACD on the 12, 26, and 9, and it had a crossover last week on the 8, 13, and 5. It has all the signals that it would want to push higher. It's just kind of ugly candles how they're walking it up. That's all. It's just odd having all the black candles and just the unusual candlestick pattern. And as you can see here, this is a longer time frame for Netflix. You can see the how it's really been pushing. It was down here in the 180s, 190s, and then it broke out, and then it ran all the way up here to this 335 zone, the 334 or so all-time high. And so if it keeps this middle Bollinger Band intact, it could get an uptrend going and push out to those new all-time high levels. Now if it broke and that 50-day simple moving average broke, you could see where it could get a downtrend going. There's a lot of it's trading above all the moving averages right now. It's extremely bullish. It just has, when I see the black candles, it signals indecision. It closed below the open even though it was up on the day, but it still was able to walk higher while the markets were pushing back. So we'll see if it can continue with this uptrend, or if it's going to take a breather. If you look at the Netflix weekly chart, you can see it's been in this very long multi-year uptrend, or multi-month uptrend. For the whole last year, it was in a strong uptrend, and then again this year, it's pushing up higher. And you can see it broke out of the top of the channel back here in January, and so it came back down, and it's been turning the top of this previous channel into support. That's lined up with EMA 13 at 282, and it's currently back above EMA's 4 and 8. That was a really bullish close last week. It had 4 red candles in a row, closed back above. That this could push higher, and the chart is signaling more upside on the weekly chart. If it could break above that high close on the first week of March, that's going to signal it wants to head higher. That's the big level to break. Once again, you can see the 320 and the 330 are the 2 big zones. Now, if it closed back below EMA 4 at 302 for the week, that would be a red flag. It needs to stay above 302 now that it's back above that level, 302.50. If you look at the 15-minute chart for Netflix, you can see here it does have an unfilled gap back here between high of day on the 10th and low of day on the 11th. And so, if let's say this failed to hold this 50 simple moving average, if for some reason the market sold off, earnings are supposed to be great, everything's supposed to be good. If for some reason it didn't work out and it pulled back, the 100 simple moving average at 306.50 would be the big level, and then you have the top of the gap at 302. A drop down to the 200 simple moving average and 299 would fill that gap. Now to the upside, it has to get back above the middle Bollinger Band at 312.44. If it can turn the level back into support, you have 315 up here. That was the high close from Friday, and if it can get back above that, then you have this 318 open level. Let's see, where did it open at? Yeah, it opened at 317.29. The high was at 317.49. So yeah, those are the big levels to break to the upside. It's trying to keep this uptrend going, even though it had lots of pullbacks. There was huge volume spikes. They could have been loading on the way up here. We'll just have to see if it's going to break resistance and hold support. It was up 5 days in a row heading into earnings. So yeah. We'll see if it can make it 6 up days in a row. Let's look at Bank of America. Closed up or down 2.7% on Friday. It got crushed along with the other banks. It's failing to get above 50 on RSI. So if it can break above 50, that would be a signal that the chart's heating up. It was above 80 on Fasto on Thursday, and then it pulled back below 50 on Friday. You've got minus DI. The red line has been hugging ADX there. If the red line broke back above the black line, that would be a red flag. That was a nasty red candle on Friday. I mean, that was a huge what we call bearish engulfing candle. So this was a strong reversal pattern. It does signal more downside risk. It came up here and it hit the 50-day simple moving average at 31, and it failed to break and pulled back, and then that closed back below the middle Bollinger Band and 100-day simple moving average, and this 330 support zone was very bearish, and then it closed back below EMA's 4, 8, and 13. So it just got sucked right back down into that previous channel. It was also a big pullback on a volume spike, so it looks like people were, dumping Bank of America before earnings. We'll see if earnings can get it to reverse. It didn't. Earnings did not help the other banks on Friday, and so if there is more downward pressure on Friday, it's going to be this 29.60, and then the big levels down here, this just below 29.20. That was the previous low close. If it dropped down and closed below 29.20, that would signal continuation of the strong downtrend. Now, if it closes and let's say it has a bullish reaction tomorrow and everything goes great, if you see Bank of America trading above 330 tomorrow, that would be really bullish. If it closed back above and got a new uptrend going, we'd be talking about retesting that 50-day simple moving average that it failed to break on Friday. Okay, let's look here at this is a daily chart, but you can see here some downside targets if it did break down. Okay, so this is that 29.20 zone I was talking about that it needs to hold. You can see that that this zone was tested in February, and then it held in March and in the beginning of April. And so if it broke below, that would be a major red flag, and then you'd be looking at the 200-day simple moving average at 27.60. You would get support down here at that lower Bollinger Band at 28.46. It just signal it's going to be big downside risk if it fails to get back above that 330, 350 level where the middle Bollinger Band's at. Okay, if you look at the weekly chart for Bank of America, you can see the level it's been struggling with. It's been struggling with the dotted purple line. That's the 20-week moving average and also the middle Bollinger Band, currently at 30.55. A weekly close above 30.55 would be really bullish. If that level turns into resistance like it's been for the last 4 weeks, and it keeps on failing to close above, 29, that 29.20 I was talking about is the big level. If it drops below 29, that would be the big red flag, and that's when you could see it drop down to that 50-week moving average at 26.85. Now if you see a Bank of America trading above 30.55, and it gets up to 31 and above, that's going to be really bullish, and that's going to be the signal, okay, yeah, this is really happening. It's getting the uptrend going again, and then we'll be looking for a retrace back up to that 32.50 zone. That high, it's all about breaking the high close here from March. Okay, so that's the top of the current channel. Okay, if we look at the 15-minute chart, you can see here it had that nasty pullback on Friday. They just attacked this open. When you see that big black candle form at the open, it's your signal to head to the sidelines. That was a red flag, and they just drove it straight down. super punished everybody that was going long with calls into the week. It did come down here, and it formed an intraday support level here. You know, it's tried to double bottom bounce here. It has to stay above this level. If it drops below, then you're looking at this, you know, 2950 level on deck. It's currently trading below all the moving averages on the 15-minute chart except for EMA 4, currently at 2978. It has to hold that level, and then it has to get back above this 300 and middle Bollinger Band level, the 300 simple moving average. Basically, it has to get back above 30. If Bank of America starts trading above 30 tomorrow, that's going to be your signal. Okay, yeah, it's heating up, it's trying to bounce. And then once it gets back above these moving averages, back above that 1500 simple moving average, that 330 level, that'll be a signal. Okay, yeah, it's ready to run again. Similar to back here when on the Thursday when it got above it, it had a nice little run. You know, if these levels turn into resistance, you could see it drop back down and test 29. Okay, thanks very much for viewing this video. Please come check out our chat. As you can see, there are other stocks that have earnings tomorrow. There's you know, Bank of America and Netflix were the two big ones, and then you can see here on Thursday or on Tuesday, it's really going to get cooking. There's a lot more you know, companies reporting, and we're really starting to get into earnings season. Okay, so come check out our chat. I'll post the link below the video. Thank you.